Welcome back, everybody. We're still trying to get this thing on the ground, and I just finished the other episode. I'll put that up, and I wanted to start this before I quit the day, but I want to at least start the episode. In order, what I really wanted to do was to get this thing on the ground. But if I'm going to put it on the ground, I want everything on it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be fitting up the hood, bonnet, whatever you want to call it, the front grille and the front bumper. I think it's going to be kind of cool. We have to figure out how are we going to do it. If you take a look right here, the mounting system for the American bumpers. American bumpers had a shock absorber, 5 mile per hour bumper protection, supposedly. These 3 studs hold that mounting in for the bumper. Now, I'm not really sure about what this car had in Europe or what other 4000s and other Audis have, but I know about the Quattros. The Quattros had a bolt and a sleeve that went in here. I have it on my Quattro upstairs, well, actually 2 of them upstairs, and they just bolt in. And when you want to take the bumper off, not the valence, but the bumper, you just undo the bolt and it comes right out. I mean, you can't get anything easier than that, and I'm leaning towards doing that because it's accessible, it's right there, I can do it. And if I need to pull it off reasonably fast, I can. We also have to have this mount for the bumper also hold this fender in. So it'll probably be capture nuts over here to screw in, or there'll be a slip just like the rally car that we did. That you just pull out, put in, and just pin it in. Not really sure how we're going to do it because we have to set everything up. We also have to set everything up towards we have to make everything look as in the, how the hood or the bonnet, if you want to call it, depending on where you are, how that mates up to the actual chassis. Then we have to fit the fenders, then fit the front bumper. It's all in unison, because it's like what I keep telling people. It's like you're going out and in to see what fits where, what fits here. So let's first go grab the hood. Let me bolt it on and let's see how it works. Now I have the hood fitting fairly well. Let's go, I mean, it's really hard to do this. Not hard, but see if this thing, I mean, it's just the way the hood is made. Because if I level out this, actually this is even a little bit more above the actual cowling piece, or if you want to, panel or whatever. But if you go over here, it dips down, then dips right back up. And let's go take a look at the other one, because you can see the waves all the way around it. Now, as you can see along the ridge, it's relatively equal, but it does waver back and forth on the mold. And this thing, if you push it down, it's fine, but it bows up. Let's try and fit the fenders now. Now this one, if you move it back to where it's supposed to be, it fits fine. It's the other side that's a pain. Let me bolt this in so we can start fitting the bumper after that. Because I'm not going to fix the one closest to the B pillar, to the A pillar, before I want to fit everything to the front end first. I'm going to start here at the back because this fender, I'm not sure if I can even put it on camera, but it goes down and goes down and then goes up like this. It's just the quality of the fenders, Let's, and plus you got this huge gap right here because this thing was cut way too short. Not much I can do, What happened, it was on the other one also. I mean, I'm probably putting this one back just a little bit more just to fudge the gap here. Oh God, it looks terrible. Man, that's probably it's probably the best compromise for the two, because I can add a little material down here to make the hood match up. But let me grab my drill right here. One thing is, I love these step drills, and if you do it pretty slow, there won't be any dust come up. So you know, if you smell or look or feel any dust, put a mask on immediately. You know, because this is just fiberglass stuff. Is just if you can pull it, if you can see this, when we have the hood down, this line comes down and moves in toward the hood right here. It almost looks, when they did the mold, they did it too fast, and this thing needs to be pulled out in order to match this. So what I did is having this line match up and comes back right here is what I did. So this, I'm probably going to have to cut it a little bit and add some filler, or add some fiberglass to the back side of it, pull it up to make it equal. It's just another small thing that, you know, when you buy these fenders, they, you know, a good price is a good price until it's not. But let me put in another screw down here so we can affix this fender and get on to working on the bumper, because we already fixed the other one. It is so close to the side. It's almost where I'm going to have to cut this out. It doesn't even, yeah, it doesn't even want to even remotely line up with this thing. Well, if it's not going to do it that way. As you can see, if you push down on the fender, the gap comes back out. So the thing is warped up. I'm going to have to live with it. What I'm going to have to do next is to get the fender mounting on the bottom so it pulls it down like this. And that way it'll be down there to where it's stressed on the fender, but I'm going to have to put a metal plate up inside here to lock the fender in anyway, because I don't trust it not falling off because the fiberglass is so thin. Let me go do the other side and see if we have the same results, which I think the other side wasn't as nearly as bad, but let me go check that. I'm trying to make this as equal as possible. I mean, this fender is actually, this is much better made. It's like someone completely different made that other fender. So now I gotta lock the back in, and then we're ready to fit the bumper. There we go. Not bad. Let's fit the bumpers. Here we have the Sport Quattro bumper from Cool Wheels. If you take a look, there's no mounting tabs, no nothing. It is just a shell. And you have to figure out how to mount it. And anything that you put on that you can't hide, you're going to see even in a paint job. That's the problem. And there's not even one thing where you can clamp things to. Plus, when you put this thing on, like this, if you make it up with that one, this thing has to come out, so both of these bumpers have to spread out in order for these things to fit. Looking at the Sport Quattro pictures, it's just like, it's really bad, believe it or not. So what's our step? Our first step, we have to expand out the fenders and lock the fenders first. And then we will put the bumper on that. But we first have to make a mount, and I'll show you what I kind of figured out what I'm going to use for a mount. This is the bar, or this is a Subaru bar. This is a cross member or a crash bar that's actually in the Subaru. It holds the dashboard up, airbags, all that stuff. I have to strip this bar for the Subaru project, you know, for the 22B project. Well, now I'm looking at everything going, all right, well, I got to save this mount just in case for the interior part. Just if they're different, I have to weld it onto that Subaru bar, because that early Impreza bar is curved and this one's not. This is just a straight across. But these are both the same. So this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to cut these off, one per side, and I'm going to weld sheet metal on there and lock in the bumpers first. I mean, lock in the fenders first. So let's get right onto that and stop down. Gotta get my knee protection somehow. What I started off with, how we're going to attach this? Well, I took the studs that I pointed out a little while ago out of here. There's 2 holes right here, there's 1 hole right here. What it is that we can fix this up into here or down to here. Just have to drill the holes, because see, you can put it right here, and this maintains stability right along the edge of the actual front horn. We have 2 of these. How am I going to decide which one is which? This one, if I put it right here, bent it over, it would be like this on the fender. You have 2 holes, great. But with this bumper being flat at the top with no other mounting tabs whatsoever, you want a ridge that comes out so you can possibly support the top of the bumper. I got to see if the grill's going to cover it. That's where I'm going to drill a hole. So I said, well, we'll pick the other side because they were mirror imaged. This way, this will go in here. It'll be bolted to this. This will come back to bring this out. And this tab right here, we bent down. And just bend this thing down. It gives us more of an area if we need to do something. We probably have to weld something on. Not really sure. But we have to first, cut a hole for the bolts so we can put the bolts in there. Then we can figure out, we need to slice this to bring it down. And it's going to be done in 2 things, but right here and right here. So it's going to come back out and hold on to the fender right there, so it holds it out like this and matches the bumper. So let me grab my grinder. Well, actually, let me go. I'm just going to go to the drill press. I'm going to drill a couple of oversized holes, just so we can move it around. That's the biggest thing, and it's only an 8x125 thread anyway. So let me just go rip that up. It looks like I only have to elongate these 2 holes. It should be pretty good. All right, just hogged out the bracket here. I have some cap screws, 8x125, really small ones, just so it's easy to get them out, and just in case I didn't have enough clearance for an actual 10 or 13 millimeter head. Gives me room to move around. Plus, I got enough of these here. We have here the mount. We have to make a Z. It has to come down here and over this way. What you do is I want a fish mouth. If I can take out that much material, top and bottom, I can bring this thing back, then I can fish mouth it. If you look at it here, I can fish mouth that there. That way it'll come back in and it'll look like a Z, and hopefully it'll be on the same line of this fender. If not, we'll add weld. So much for having it sit there. As you can see, I screwed up. I should have just cut this straight down. I'll build the plates later. What I'm going to do is just weld in this little tab right here. And that's pretty much it. I'm not even going to clean it yet because I'm not sure what's even going to go with it. Right here. Let's see what the bumper looks like. Well, this side, I go right there. I still have to go outside on that one. Now, fitting the front bumper. If we have to take a look here. The bumper looks like it's just a little inset from the fender, so we have to bring the fenders out so it's the outside. So let's try and fit those equally on both sides so we can make it actually look decent. In order to get it flush on this, I have to cut this at an angle, to follow this angle. I have to do the same thing over on the other side. So we can get the thing flush so we can build a mount to actually support it. Oh, let me get my mask on, my respirator. Well, that's not too bad. Let's go do the other side. This side's not too bad. You can see it still curves up, but still needs to go like this right here. Trying to make a plate for this. This was the waste that came out of the A2 project over there to do the front bumpers. And it's pretty much, it'll go all the way down here. It'll give me a something to grab onto. Bend it like this so you have a tab. So the top part of that will be on there. This thing will be bent up to put at the bottom part of the turn signal well. So let's just let's put it in the vise and bend it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a quick tack. When I want this to be right here, and I'm going to trim this around. I'll shim it if I need to. But seeing as it's already, I'm just going to just a very light tack. That way I can manipulate where everything is a little bit easier. Don't want to burn through. Let me go tack another one on the other side, and maybe this might be a little bit easier to do. I can go get another set of pliers. What I want to do is I want to set this fender so I can drill a hole, and then I can leave it. This is where this is going to be in a final mode. I got to trim all of this. I have to trim this so it'll actually sink in better with there. It'll ride more up on here. But what I want to do is I want to take this bumper off. I'm going to do the other side also, but I'm going to take this bumper off. I'm going to drill holes so I can bolt it to it. That way, that'll be stationary. It's not going anywhere. And then I can concentrate on getting the holes built for this and having the bumper stay on. Let's just see what happens. On this side, we're running into different problems. If I go out any more up here, this thing really pushes out. But if I turn it like that, because another thing is they probably pulled it out of the mold when it was wet and it bowed in. I mean, it should, I think, supposed to be like flat straight there, not fully bowed out. But it's another one of these problems that I'm having with these two-wheel fenders that if we have to really, really modify these things. See, I don't mind having it up and down. I just want it relatively square. And I want this little ridge to come down like this. But this is just so hellacious. I think we should, because you can see this thing curves all the way back in. It has to be pulled out. What I got to do now, I'm going to put two holes up in here so I can attach that so I can get the vice grips out of there. Same thing on the other side. And we're going to go from there. That's the only thing I can think about doing. We have to slowly build up and do this stuff. Not going anywhere. One down, one to go. We have the mounts on both fenders. Now that the front bumper is reasonably stationary, we have to get rid of the bungee cord, so we need to prop it up. And what are we going to use for that is, I had to rack my brain and figure out what I was going to do, because it needs to do a couple things. It needs to hold the bumper up. That's a couple ounces of weight, nothing. But it also wants to be part of the, I also want it to be part of the intercooler mounting system. So it has to be relatively, strong. What I want to do, I'm going to use some of the rest of the garage door opener tubing, which is, it's fairly thick and heavy, and it welds really nice. But how was I going to, easily make the mounts to get on there, and how would they look all right? Well, this is the trunk mount from an Audi 4000. So we're using Audi 4000 parts is what we're using. This is for the other side. Here's the mount we're going to use for this side. This is an Audi 4000 Quattro trunk mount. If we sit there and pull this down, if you take a look, it goes right in there, and there's a bend right here, which will bend around this sheet metal. We still have to tap the sheet metal down a little bit, but it actually fits in quite nice right there, right there. That way this is pretty strong. It's pretty close to what it is. I mean, we'll bend it if we need to, but what I want to do is I'm going to drill 2 holes on either side of that frame rail, or front leg, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to weld 2 nuts on here, so just 2 8 by 125 or 13 millimeter headed bolts will bolt into this thing and keep it stationary. That's, you can't ask for anything better than that. Let me get on to, I got to drill the holes for those, and we will get the grinder, the cutter out. We'll cut this and start trimming it up and put that bar on it, and let's see what we got. There, that's not going anywhere. Let's figure out where to cut it. Well, this is restricting us right here, so let's just cut it right there, and then we'll figure out closer where it's going to be into the body. So let me just hack those off. Now here's the bumper. It's fitting in flush with the fenders right now. That's where it's going to be. But it's too high because this ridge goes down here. This pipe is on it. So what we need to do is find out where that ridge is right before it and slice it off. Wow. Rather be lucky than good. Let's put a crossbar. That, it's right there. It's right on the money. So all we have to do is keep the bar level right here, and I think we're good. Now I'm going to keep this flat part still there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here, cut there, and cut here, and fill the rest in with weld. Then I'll mark the other side. Because my luck, I'd mark them and it'd be too short. That's pretty much how I wanted it. Sort of like that. Trim the rest. I think that's pretty cool. Actually, no. Let's put the bumper on. Let's see if it sits high or low. Because I might have to chop these off and drop it a little bit. Dude, that looks awesome. Shit. I'm gonna attack that mother right there. I'm gonna attack it. Well, that's on there. Now here is the grill. And that is centered right around where the fender lines are. So that's going to be right there. We have room, as you can see, right in. Yep, as you can see, we have room right in there. I'm going to put a screw right there. Same thing over there, because the grill hides it. We have this here. We'll have 2 screws there. The bumper is affixed, theoretically. Not by much. But this is, right now, the problem with the hood not closing is that the engine's too tall. That Eurovan block is about probably 3/4 of an inch taller than the standard 3D. And I think I might have made the engine nuts a little high. You know, so be it. That's not too much of a too much of a worry for me because I can always drop them down because they're really not fully welded in yet. I can drop them down and move them over. But I think I'm going to get the 3D in here first because I need an exact height measurement. That's, you know, the unfortunate thing, because this thing's a good 1/2 inch high. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put a screw on this, and I think I might fit the headlights. I want to see what the headlights look like in here. Then I'm going to put it on the ground. I got to. Let's get the headlights. Now, here are the headlights. One of the things that we have to look at is that how the lights are positioned and where they're positioned to the grill. I took off the fog lights on those Chinesium B2 Passat lights, and I just kind of stuck them in. I stuck them in 2 ways. But let's first take a look at this. We have the lights right here on this car, and if you take a look, they are right up next to the grill. They're basically on the grill. We're starting on the headlights. I did the one over there, and oh my God, what a pain in the ass. I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. You know, because the mounting tabs are just not right. And this one's so inset, you can't use the original tabs from the Audis. I'm going to try, but well, over there I'm going to show you what I did. So like a hybrid of the mounting tabs for the Volkswagen and the mounting tabs for the Audi. So let's just get right onto it. These are the original mounting tabs from the Audi. Not going to use these. First thing we're going to use, well, we're going to cut this plate right off of here because we don't need this section, and this is for the fog lamp anyway. On this one, here are the mounting tabs for the Volkswagen. The Volkswagen, these things just bolt right to the chassis, which I think is actually a better design than the Audis, but yeah, whatever, who cares. What we're going to do is we're going to replicate these two on the outside. We're going to cut these off, you know, this little plate right here off, and weld onto this plate, because we don't need this section. Just it's a hindrance and just getting out. We don't need that stuff anyway. And what we are going to do is use a couple of mounts from the old Hello lights, and this right here. This is leftovers from the you know, from doing the rocker panels and the ridges and stuff like that. And what we're going to do is this thing is going to be like this, and then we drilled and not drilled, and so you can just put a screw there. This will be the outside, and then let's just do the insides quickly. Well, one thing, pull out your daytime running lights or city lights, just so you don't break them on the thing. So we have to put this in here. This is pretty much where I want it, right there. This is where I want my headlight, right here. Give me a good rough estimation of where to go. Side straight to hell. Looks like we're going to have to make an L on the bottom of this bracket. Bend. Oh, I want to bend this a little bit to give me a little bit more room, and bend it right. This was flopping, but right here on the is where it's going to sit on that. Oh, that'll look nice. Let's fabricate some, let's put some small brackets that are close to this thing right here. I want some brackets that'll come down that'll attach to this and attach to this. I think we got something here. Let's go take apart that other headlight frame. these original mounting tabs that came off of that Hello Light, they were generally down here and over here, or here and here. I don't want to use either of those mounts on the original Audi because A, they're kind of obscured, like right here. Here's one of them. This is where the mount, or this mount would be. What I want to use is there's already a hole here for the trim that was on here. And you know what? It fits beautifully. It just has to be bent up a little bit so we can rest it on the bottom of that and weld it. And the reason why I know, because I did that one. And now this tab will go right here on the original Audi mount, and it'll come over here, and it should be enough to go onto the side. See, if I have it all just sitting on these tabs, once I get it all set up, I can start welding bits and pieces, like a small section over there, small section over here. That way I can undo all the screws, pull it out, pull everything apart, and weld it on the bench. That's the main goal. See, I'm trying to bring this thing up to make it stay stationary, and this right here, the lip from the front tray, if you want to call it, or whatever this thing is, I have to cut this and bend it up in order to get this little ridge right here upwards. So another small thing they have to do. I think if I weld it right there on these two tabs, should be pretty damn close. Well, let's give it a shot. I had to. We have the headlights on. Well, it was a day's work doing this. A lot of figuring out how I was going to do it. I'm kind of happy with it. I mean, I'll take the lights off and I have to weld them all on the bench and everything, but they're good for just stationary right there. I wanted to get this thing on the ground. I might film an addendum. No, maybe not. I don't know. I'm freaking beat. So let's call it on this episode. Thank you very much for showing up. Remember, you can do anything you want. I am nothing special. I'm just a hillbilly recycler. That just happens to like Audis and a whole bunch of rally shit. Thank you very much, and I hope you come back, and it's getting there. This is actually, having it look like this, it just said, it's getting close. Or at least it looks like what I want to do. All right? Thank you very much for stopping by, and I appreciate it. Have a good one. Later. You didn't think I'd let you see it not on the ground. I think it's cool.